The film opens amidst the chaos of a sorority house, pulsating with the energy of a loud party where the sound of laughter, music, and animated conversations blend into one. Inside the house, the camera captures a series of scenes that offer a glimpse into the uninhibited behavior of the partygoers. Intoxicated students dance to the loud music, while others indulge in different types of drugs. Meanwhile, couples find themselves kissing on the couch, completely ignoring their surroundings. A group of girlfriends gather inside Jessica's room to gossip and do shots. Before doing their shots, the girls say what they like about each other, building a bit of tension between Cassidy and Jessica when they speak their minds. When Cassidy asks about Megan, Jessica swiftly retrieves her laptop and shows her footage of Megan and her boyfriend in a very intimate setting, captured in real time through a webcam recording. Chugs, one of the girls who was present, discloses that they've given her brother Garrett a roofie to add to Megan's drink as a joke. Suddenly, Megan starts to foam at the mouth and starts to have a seizure, which makes the girls panic and they rush her to her room. When Garrett panics and tells them what happened, they urge him to go get the car, and Cassidy was surprised when Megan sits up laughing, and the girls tell her that they're pranking Garrett for cheating on Megan in the past. The girls stay in character, ready to prank the boy, Cassidy being the only one against the cruel joke. Putting Megan in the car, the group along with Garrett head out to the hospital, but Claire pretends she missed the road to the hospital and takes them straight to the woods. Jessica keeps telling the frightened man that they need to take care of the situation so they don't get in trouble, and when he agrees, she tells Claire to follow a specific path, explaining that she knows a good place to hide the body. Once they all leave the car and get the supposed dead body out on the ground, Jessica tells everyone to go around and find sharp stones to dismember the body. While the girls were distracted with their task, they don't notice Garrett taking a tire iron and stabbing it in Megan's chest. Panicking by the sudden turn of events, the girls gather around Megan, who is now bleeding out, and they start yelling at Garrett. Cassidy desperately tries to stop the bleeding in hopes of saving her life, but is unsuccessful. And as she reaches for her phone to call the police, Jessica intervenes, stopping her by explaining that the girl is kind of already dead, and they all now bear responsibility for her tragic fate. Jessica skillfully persuades the others that they must keep this dark secret buried, but Cassidy adamantly disagrees. Disguised by their decision, Cassidy chooses to leave in search for a signal, while the remaining girls make a haunting decision to dispose of Megan's lifeless body by lowering it into a well. When Cassidy returns to tell them that she still can't find a signal, they explain to her what they did and warn her that they would blame her for Megan's death if she says anything to anyone. And because they said that, Cassidy had no other choice but to agree to their terms. 8 months pass since the fateful incident, and Cassidy and her once close friends are now about to graduate. They eagerly anticipate the fresh beginnings that await them, and the following day, she and her boyfriend Andy return to the sorority house to commemorate the anniversary. As the sisters gather together, Jessica takes the stage to deliver a heartfelt speech about the history and significance of the house. However, the atmosphere takes an abrupt turn when Ellie sees a girl who bears an uncanny resemblance to Megan. Overwhelmed by the shocking sight, Ellie's scream pierces the air and she collapses. The girls take her to the house kitchen and explain that it was only Megan's sister that she saw, and while they were discussing the matter, they all receive a disturbing text message with a picture of the bloody tire iron that Garrett used to kill Megan. The girls just assume that it's just a stupid joke from the disturbed Garrett and ignore it, and after the formal event, their house mother, Mrs. Crenshaw, leaves the girls alone for their last party before graduating. This is where I said to myself, God, I wish I was at that party! Damn! And as soon as she left, the girls get busy trying to prepare everything for the night. Chugs goes to her therapist's office for her 5 o'clock session and finds him tied up on his bed. Looking at her seductively, he tells her he wants to finish what he started with another patient and promises her free prescription papers, and although she was annoyed by her perverted therapist, she agrees and goes into the bathroom to freshen up. While he waits for her, the man thinks that he hears something moving around the house, but assumes that it's just his imagination. Suddenly, the music is cut off, which the therapist finds suspicious, and gets up from his bed to see who it is, only to be impaled in the head with a tire iron. Chugs leaves the bedroom without seeing the pool of blood around the bed and calls out for her doctor, annoyed, thinking that he's playing games with her. She then lies down on the sofa, waiting for him to return, but she's suddenly attacked by a hooded figure who jams a bottle in her throat until it ruptures. In a fancy restaurant, Jessica was having lunch with her boyfriend, Kyle's father, who happens to be a senator. Looking at her intently, he warns her that he doesn't like surprises and tells her that he wants his son to be with a person that he can spend his life with. Nervous about what he said, Jessica assures him that there was nothing to worry about. Back at the sorority house, Jessica and Claire discuss the earlier text in the bathroom, unaware that a girl was listening in one of the stalls. Jessica carelessly tells her not to give attention to Garrett's accusations of making him kill Megan, explaining that he was just being a child. As Claire and Jessica leave, the girl is left behind, overcome with a sense of unease, as the sound of running water echoes from every shower stall, sending shivers down her spine. With a growing sense of dread, she cautiously reaches for her towel, desperate to escape the unsettling atmosphere. However, before she can make a single move, the hooded figure appears out of nowhere, swiftly plunging a knife into her neck. In the sorority house's basement, Ellie scours the area in search of the item that she left for the upcoming party. As she navigates through the dimly lit space, her eyes widen in disbelief when she catches sight of a familiar jacket hanging on the wall. It was the very same jacket that she and the girls had used to wrap Megan's lifeless body before discarding it into the depths of the well. Taking the jacket to her sisters, Ellie shows them what she had found, which makes them all panic. Taking charge, Jessica tells them to calm down, still believing that Garrett was behind the stupid prank, and tells them to simply enjoy the party. On the dance floor, tensions escalate between Claire and her boyfriend Mickey, leading to a heated argument that drives them apart. Wanting solace and the attention of other girls, Mickey engages in flirtatious conversations outside the venue, but realizes that he's been seen by Ellie from the upstairs window. Worried that Ellie might tell Claire, he decides to search for her upstairs, hoping to address the situation. And as he ascends the staircase, the hooded figure appears, trapping him and finally killing him off, unaware that Ellie had witnessed the whole thing. She runs out screaming after she sees the murderer leave, but she's stopped by her friends, who ask her what happened. Unable to explain using her words, she takes them to the upstairs room where she saw Mickey die. Cassidy and Jessica go inside and find Mickey's dead body with a tire iron stuck in his neck. Suddenly, their phones start to chime and they get a video message from Megan's old phone showing everything that took place the night of the horrible accident. Seconds later, another text comes in ordering them to come to the site where they had dumped Megan's body, warning that the footage would go to the police in 20 minutes if they didn't. Having no other choice, Jessica and Cassidy round up the rest of the girls and head down to the well. When they get there, they find Garrett cutting his wrists with a piece of glass, and assuming that he was the psycho that had been traumatizing them all day, Jessica ran him over with her car and killed him. Cassidy looks through his phone and finds that he's been receiving the same messages that they had, proving that he's not actually the killer. Realizing that there was only one way to prove that it wasn't Megan who had been stalking them, the girls lowered Cassidy down into the hole. When she reaches the bottom, she gets out her phone and tries to look around for Megan's body, but is unable to find it. When she turns the flashlight to one of the walls, she's shocked by a message written in blood saying the pie must die, indicating the name of their sorority. Terrified by what they had discovered, the girls return to their party to find it empty and the jacuzzi overheating. Covering the place with foam, Jessica tells the girls that she's gonna find her boyfriend and that she's leaving that place for good. Claire stays outside to shut off the water, attempting to stop the overflowing foam. Inside the house, Cassidy and Jessica receive a message from Chugs saying that she's gonna come to the party, followed by a chilling text that said it was because she was dead. Suddenly, Claire starts banging on the door, crying and begging them to help her, and while trying to pry open the door, they notice the rope tied around her ankle, which suddenly pulls her very hard, dragging her into the foam. Managing to open the door, Cassidy runs after Claire, only to find her dead on the lawn with a flared gunshot in her mouth. Rushing back to the house, she closes up the doors and tells them to stay inside, and Jessica heads up to her room and is shocked to find Megan's sister Maggie in her bed, who tells her that she's just slept with her boyfriend. The two start a fight until Cassidy stops them by telling them that somebody is in the house. As they wait anxiously to see who it is, they're relieved to see Mrs. Crenshaw walk up the stairs with a shotgun. Overwhelmed by fear and the weight of their dark secrets, the girls confess the truth, revealing the grim reality that many of their friends are dead, and Mrs. Crenshaw takes charge, instructing them to stay in Jessica's room and urgently contact the police. As they gather in the safety of the room, they realize that none of them have their phones, and in a desperate attempt to find a means of communication, Cassidy and Jessica muster their courage and head up to the attic, determined to retrieve Mickey's phone. Meanwhile, Ellie remains behind, anxiously awaiting their return. As chaos ensues downstairs, the relentless murderer claims yet another victim, Mrs. Crenshaw, and sets the house on fire with a Molotov cocktail, narrowly missing Maggie in the process. Meanwhile, on the top floor, Jessica and Cassidy are surprised by the sudden appearance of Kyle, who's wearing a graduation gown. Jessica confronts him and accuses him of infidelity, and Kyle's tone turns violent, becoming physically aggressive and very menacing toward Jessica. Cassidy springs into action, wielding a fire extinguisher as her weapon, and hits the man right on the head. As the girls run away, Kyle comes to and follows them, looking for them in every room. When he kicks in the door, he accidentally hits Jessica in the head, causing her to pass out, and he holds Cassidy against the wall by her neck, telling her that since her boyfriend wasn't there, no one would protect her. Suddenly, an axe hits Kyle in the head, almost severing his skull in half. Cassidy's shocked to see that it was her boyfriend, Andy, who delivered the blow, and at first, she was happy to see him, but the shock of seeing the knife on his waist changes her mind, realizing that he was the one killing everybody. As Jessica regains consciousness, her eyes widen in horror as she too notices the unsettling presence of the knife in Andy's possession. Desperate to salvage the situation, she pleads with him, saying that they can rectify their actions. However, Andy refuses to listen to what she had to say, and he ruthlessly stabs Jessica in the mouth with the knife, impaling her to the wall. Trying to pull her into his embrace, Andy tells Cassidy that he's killed everyone for her so that they can be free to start anew. He then tells her that he needs to take care of Ellie and then they can be off to his parents' summer house, and pretending that she's on his side, Cassidy kicks him and attempts to save her friend's life, but he catches on quick. Angry that his girlfriend betrayed him, Andy tries to murder her, but she's saved by Ellie, who shoots him with Mrs. Crenshaw's gun. The three remaining girls hurry out of the house, letting the house burn down with the bodies and all the evidence inside. And 15 months later, Maggie, Megan's sister, joins the sorority after the house is rebuilt, and during the inducting process, a man with slashed wrists stares at her from afar, indicating that the horror story has not yet come to an end. But the movie does. If you want to watch more creepy horror movie recaps, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment. We'll see you next time. Bye.